and BH participants equals hostiles. If BP participants is greater than 0, we're going to say B participants dot at I dot dot pushback. Player Let's go back up here because this is totally freaking messing up everything down here. While let's put that there and comment this out, and we'll just read it from there. Really? Okay, what the hell? So, battle loop, while that closes that off. So we actually need 2 of these. There we go. That fixed it. Now this should be working down here properly. Yeah. Player class. Name is not allowed. Maybe we'd have to do pointers then. Okay, new player. Well, let's try that first, new player, before we do that. Pointer there. Overloaded. I see. So yeah, we need to. I think we do need to put the pointer in there. So boom, and good. Okay. So I just want to see. So see something here. B participants dot at I dot or at, let's say at 0 dot and then if BH participants greater than 0, B participants dot push back new hostile. Okay, so we have those now. Now I need to set B participants to the player. Dot push or dot at 0 equals M player, and we'll pass M player through here. Interesting. All sorts of problems. So we need to go, let's go to main real quick here. So this is where this is all going to be happening from. Include player.h, include battle proc.h. Player M player equals new player. So we're going to be using pointers now instead, which kind of sucks, but we'll just have to deal with it. So then we'll say let's see, let's go to battle park real quick, and instead of an and, put a pointer. Oh, because that would work, a pointer would work. That's what I thought. I was thinking about that, and maybe that would work, but it did, so good. So anywhere we have a hostile created or a player created, we have to have it be a pointer instead of a reference now. There's not really that much of a difference, really. And it can be easily accomplished, so. No biggie. So we go through here, search for M player, or player and M player, and change it to player star M player, place all. Okay. And then where we see M player dot, change it to M player we have to do the same thing with the player team now as well, and the hostile team. So P team Damn, we'll have to do it by hand, I guess. Let's see, let's look up for an array of class pointers. Let's see if it just works that same way. If it's a dot or if it's... Okay, yeah, so we use those instead of dots now. Okay, good. That's all I wanted to check and make sure of. So we need to go down to wherever we create the arrays for those and switch those to something else. HITM equals new hostile. Really? I'll probably also do the same with planets too, now that I think about it. Let's head back down. HT number? What the hell? Total number of hostiles, maybe? That's gonna be hostiles. We don't need to do -1, just hostiles. Let's battle... No, we're going down too far here now. Where the hell was that? Here. So we have to create the array and then fill the array. So we've created the array, we've got to switch it to an array of pointers. I guess looking at that. A pointer to a pointer. That's getting a little postmodern. We're doing pointers to pointers. Hostile. Cool. Of course, now all these are wrong now. So find P team I, switch with really. Well, I know H team's around here. Question is why isn't P team? I could have sworn we had some down here that used P team. Anyway, so we got that done. We'll have to go through and change everything else though. That's alright. If it gets things to work the way I want them to, I'll change them. It's no big diggy. No big diggy. Yes, no big deal. No big diggy. What the hell? Brain farts. They always bring forth unusual things. Anyway, so we got that. Now we've got the first array, first vector element set to player, because it should, because that is the player class there. Now we need to set the other vector elements to what they need to be. So it's going to be player then a hostile, player then a hostile. So then for I equals 0, I is less than or equal, well, we'll just go less than. Don't need to do the equals, I don't know why we have that there for, so less than total participants I minus minus, or plus plus. So if I equals 0, which it will the first time through, then set this to I. Okay. Now we need to say if I equals 1, 3, or if I equals 5, battle participants I dot at I equals p team I. And essentially this is going to say, okay, so if I minus 2, or should it be 3? 3, 1, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, So we'll have to do a whole thing then. We won't be able to do the ORs because of how this is set up. So it's going to be, so if it's 3, that means it's player 1, or the player element 1. If it's 5, it's going to be player element 2. So if 0, actually it'll be 2. If I equals 1, which it will, so it has to, battle participants dot at I equals h team 0. And so we're just filling up the array, or the vector, with the array elements from both of the other of the other stuff. I forgot now what I was gonna say. Anyway, if I equals 3, so it's gonna go 0 to 5. And that's the max we can have, because there's only going to be able to be 6 ships during a ship-to-ship battle, not a ship-to-ship battle, not an RTS battle. Let's put it that way. We'll have to figure out how to do all that later on as well, since we're going to have multiple types of fighting going on: the RTS style and then the RPG style. So B participants dot at I equals P, H team 1. If I equals 4, B participants dot at I equals P team 2. And the beauty of this is that these are only going to get called if I gets to that value. So if I doesn't get up to 4 or 2, it's not going to add those in. So that's going to be pretty good as far as keeping things together and merging it so it works for 2 different systems. Otherwise you might have to do, a for loop for players, no for loop for the hostile team. And who the hell's calling? Free call toll. Jackasses that can't even get the free toll call ordered correctly won't stop calling. It's pretty obvious they're just a bunch of telemarketers. Or some other kind of phishing thing. From the fact that they can't use proper grammar. Or at least not use the free toll call like it's supposed to be used. Or named or ordered or whatever. But I digress. Now I'm just ranting. Equals... After one of these days I'm going to pick up the phone and say, stop effing calling. It's only so many times they call before you snap. Participants, dot at I equals H team 2. Okay, so now we have the, let's see, so this is add player hostile entities to vector, initialize vector elements, and now sort vector elements for highest to lowest movement in it. So now we need to go add a new int here. R code, W code, I2, S shield, S armor, S hull, ST level, SWHP, SLB, SBH, S RM, S SMT banks L bank turrets or it should be I turrets. And I banks. Bombs, I bombs. Turret, nice. Turret. I banks. It would just be a lot neater to do it this way. It wouldn't have so much stuff just hanging down here like that. On the other hand, you couldn't do all this stuff, so I guess it does have its pros and cons of doing it that way. And we have an I2, so maybe we can use that instead of J. A 4I equals 0. As long as I is less than B participants dot size I plus plus. So bubble sorts are interesting and kind of hard to pull off. First, we need to have an entity pointer holder object as well. So let's see, sorting variables. So we have to have an entity storage 1 and an entity storage 2. That's to store the elements that we want to switch, if it's necessary. Alright, so for now what we have to do is we have to go B participants dot at I get so now here's the thing though, if we do it this way, we need to be able to keep track of what is player and what is hostile, because there are certain things that are different. Instead, why don't we go back to player real quick here, and instead of using P ship or H ship, we'll just call it ship. That way it's heterogeneous, and we can do anything with each class, and we'll have to worry about so yeah, none of the variables functions should have identifiable, if you will, things here. Maybe now let's go back to how we did it before. Undo that stuff. Or wait, go Y. Need that. player.h. We need to figure out a way to differentiate between hostile and player classes. I think what we'll do is then for this is we'll add in we'll add a bool down here. We'll say bool is hostile. And we'll say on both of these, because we'll have to have it on both. Actually, B is hostile. That's what it should be. B is hostile. And then we'll have a get hostile. Is this the hostile class? Crap, what did I just close? Message processing H. Go over here, we'll add this down here. And we'll say bool player BS or player get hostile return. Actually, I don't even need that one, do we? Never mind, we don't need that. Down here, we can just return false or true as needed. That way, we also don't have to set that up during the setup for these as well. We can just go right into it. So, bool hostile get alright, so that solves that. So if B participants dot at I get hostile really. So that has to be in the entity class. Interesting, interesting. So maybe we will do something else with this then, but I'll have to think on it, so figure out what to do. So I'm just gonna go and end this recording session right now. It's getting pretty late. Anyway, and I've been gone for a while. So and since I need to think on what I want to do about that, it's probably a good time to stop anyway. So thanks for watching these videos. Hope you found them entertaining or interesting, or at the very least you learned something. If you like the videos, feel free to like them, and would appreciate if you'd share them around. And I'd also appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel if you have not already. And I will see you probably tomorrow, or if not, then on Sunday. Hey everyone, this is GeoWill from Productions², and as soon as I get my mouse hooked up to my computer to charge it, we are back. Okay. For some more of the developers vlog series 4 for Space Crusade. So I did a bunch of thinking on this, on what I discussed last time, as far as what to do about this whole issue of using pointers and whatnot for vectors. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it simply as possible and just create a vector of strings that contain the names of the captains of the ships involved in the battle, and then from that we will determine who goes first and the order of the actual fighting that takes place. It's not an ideal solution, but it's one that'll work, that I know will work and won't require me to modify the program to a massive extent that I really don't want to have to try and do. So first we need to go through and get rid of a few files, and also so entity H and CPP, yes, get rid of those. Alright, from main, kill that off, so we no longer need to use that. So let's see, player H, so I'm looking for, take off this and that. We'll have to include something similar to that at some point in time, but that'll be for a different version of the game, not for this one. And same thing here. Oops, what the hell? Home, get rid of that. Now, what I need to do is to locate any and turn them into dots. Whatever the ellipses, I guess is what's the technical term for a period is. Just this document for now. Find and replace all. 77 done. Okay, next we need to go to proc H, go to entity. String. So up here, get rid of those. Also, we need to find hostile, oops, and replace it with hostile and. Really? What the hell? Well, player is then. Nothing else. There's 5 for there. Then we gotta do the same thing here. Okay. Nowhere else had that kind of stuff going on, I don't think, right? No. Alright, good. Alright. So, back over here. What we need to do now is come back down here. And get rid of that. Get rid of this stuff. And just say empty string. And that just will fold up into this part here. In order of movement initiative. So, here's what we do now. Let's do the bubble sort thing here. So, we have to put in So here's what we need to do. We need to figure out a way let's say J is less than, I'll add a or maybe I2 instead, not J. I++, and I2 will only be incremented once a certain thing is undertaken. So, here's how we'll do it. We'll have to do it. We'll have a storage to store the names, and the initiative value for the ship that that particular captain is helming, and that'll be compared to each other enemy within that's participating in the battle. And then if nobody is higher than they are, then we will add them to the vector, and then go through the process again, doing the same thing, except without using that particular character or captain in the list anymore. So, how to go about doing this is the question. It's one thing to think of the idea of how something's supposed to work. It's another thing of making it actually work the way you want it to. You have brainstormed it too. So, what we're essentially doing here is I'm trying to make a double nested for loop without actually having to make a double nested for loop. So in other words, we use two iterative variables. One of them is used only for going through the arrays, while the other one is used to deal with exiting the for loop when it's time to. Normally the way you do this though is you go through and do a actual nested for loop with with one for loop and then another for loop inside of it to go through it multiple times. But this way we're getting around that. We go through it once, and once we've made sure that a particular character has the highest value, then we will increase I2. And we will reset I once it reaches maybe we'll just have, I don't know, maybe we'll have to do it with our actual double nested fourth one. Just trying to. So we have two different arrays we have to go through. The player team and hostile team. Those have to be gone through each. And, I'm just gonna start coding and we'll see. I'll figure it out as I go. That's usually how I do things. Just code by the seat of my pants. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is say, let me see, we still got the storage variables, I believe. We're gonna change them to strings. Well, one to string and one to int. We'll go I storage and S storage 1 and 2. So we may need 2 in this case. So we may just have to do some weird thing here. I mean, because we have to iterate through. Maybe what we'll do is we'll put each. No, that wouldn't work. I was thinking, put each array element in order first in their particular arrays, and then go through and compare each array element to the other array elements, and then work from there. But that seems a little too complicated. Your main goal when making a program is to always keep it simple, or as simple as possible. That way you have a efficient program. So, how to do this as simply as possible, but actually still accomplishing what I need to have happen. So when I get stuck like this, a good way that I use to try and visualize what needs to happen is to either write code and see what happens, or to sometimes create a flowchart or some sort of chart that can indicate what's supposed to happen. I can actually visually see it and maybe come up with an idea. So let's see. Let's see, what do we need? Just trying to figure out what best would fit this. I guess we could do organizational chart. Alright, so we have the player team. So we have with, let's say, 6 or 4 initiative, PT2 with 2 initiative, and PT3 with 9 initiative. And then we have the hostile team. H team with 1. And then we have third one here. With 6 of these, and this is the battle participants. Alright, we need to do a line here. Damn it, damn it, how do I frickin' just copy this, I guess we could say. Just do that. Wait, what is this thing? And how do I create it? Branch style? How do I add in... Anyway, you get the idea how this goes. There's supposed to be anchor points that these attach to. Or something like that. How do I add to this? It's a very good question. I don't even know how to work that thing. Anyway, so we have that. We have battle participants. And so we need to figure out how to first organize these by their whichever, by highest movement initiative, then to copy the names of these down into here in that order. So first off, we need to go through to these sequentially, I think. In other words, we compare one of these to these, and then them to these. And then, if one is found to be higher, we then go back through somehow and re-sort them. Well, the way a bubble sort works is that you go through the array or vector with two loops. The first loop iterates through each element, while the second loop goes through and actually does the comparisons and swapping. And so what happens is that you end up with the first loop being the loop that will count, will be the one that will escape out of the loop system, while the second loop is used purely to go through it and find the highest one. And also the first loop, by doing it like that, the two-tiered approach, you actually also ensure that each element's going to be in descending order or ascending order, depending on which way you're wanting to sort them. In this case, though, it's not so cut and dry because we have two arrays that we're comparing against both itself and each other, themselves and each other. We have to use a triple nested for loop for this. And that's what's kind of vexing about it. Is how to actually do that and make it work properly. Because you can't just put three loops and go through the player, then the hostile, and then do the thing. That wouldn't work that way. I don't think. Plus, the bubble sort is for sorting within an array, not for copying to a new array. So this is kind of going to be like a bubble sort slash something kind of hybrid. I think what we have to do is we have to sort through each individual array and order them, and then we have to go through, compare them to each other, and then from there put those into the vector. Or we could just load them into the vector using a struct or something that can contain a name and an int, and then be able to access it that way. I think maybe that's what we'll have to do. Maybe that's a better way to do it. Create battle participants as a struct within the battle processing class. That could work easily, I think. So here's a question though: can you define a struct within a class? So yes, you can.